welcome to the MVP Show. My intention is that you listen to the stories of these MVP guests and are inspired to become an MVP and bring value to the world through your skills. If you have not checked it out already, I do a YouTube series called How to Become an MVP. The link is in the show notes. With that, let's get on with the show. Today's guest is from the United Kingdom. He works at EY. He was first awarded as MVP in 2024. He's a seasoned Microsoft Dynamics 365 finance and operations consultant. Brings rich and diverse experience spanning various industries. He's passionate about knowledge sharing and actively contributes to the Microsoft Dynamics community through insightful blogs and a dynamic YouTube channel. You can find links to his bio, social media, etc. in the show notes for this episode. Saurabh, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mark, for having me here. It's a pleasure to be talking to you today.
Yeah, it's great to have you on the show. I have just returned from London. I missed you, unfortunately. Didn't get to see you there. Tell me about food, family, and fun. What do they mean to you?
Oh, everything. Okay. So I come from India, right? And India, one of the things which is, everyone in India, you will find that food and family is everything. I think that's the priority, right? And you get a lot of variety of foods across different regions. Every 100 kilometers you will travel, maybe I'm saying more, but you will find a new type of food which is available there. So I'm a big time foodie. In London also, I try to explore as much as Indian food wherever I can get it. So I can travel for an hour to go and find out some good food places. So yeah, and about the fun, yeah. So I love cooking first. I love traveling second, and I'm not sure. That you do follow or not, but I do follow a lot of political news and things, specifically Indian in Indian context. So that's a really interesting thing. Sometimes every day, at least I will watch some 30 minutes podcast or anything related to the Indian politics.
Interesting. You mentioned going around London for Indian. What I found in my time living there is that Indian food is very different in different parts of London. Like I feel like where I lived, the Indian food was, but I was taken across London. I don't even know specifically, but it had a big Indian community around this part of London, and the food was just amazing. It was amazing. So yeah, it differs from place to place, even in London, right?
Definitely, and I think it varies. Very much depending on the taste you have about the Indian food, basically. So in India also, if you are in the northern part of India and if you will taste the southern part of dishes there, it will be a bit different. They will put that flavor in. And when you will have the northern part of Indian food dishes in southern part, you will have a bit different flavor because they add their flavor into that. So same goes possibly in London also.
Yeah. When I was 10 years old, I was invited to my first Indian meal. Where I lived in New Zealand, there was a very active Indian community around me. It was in market gardens, so they did a lot of vegetable. They owned a lot of the businesses around growing food crops in New Zealand. And 10 years old, very impressionable, I was asked to go to this Indian dinner, and there was this friend of the family, he was called an uncle, but not biological. And he was like, oh, you know that your mouth will catch on fire. Like it will burn you. And so I chickened out going to this dinner. And of course, I've always regretted it because when I got older, I was invited to other Indian meals, etc. And of course, absolutely loved Indian cuisine. But I remember that from 10 years old, that the fear of the heat being put into me. And now I grow Carolina Reaper chilies myself, which are one of the hottest chilies that you can get. So
Next time you are in London, I mean, I'll definitely come and meet you, and I'll take you around here for having some good Indian food.
I would like that. You know what? I've never been to India. I have had so many, people say I should go to India. I almost went a couple of months ago. When I was working for IBM, they had me going to do a meet and greet with a large bank, a London bank that had gone to our outsource center there. And then at the last minute, it didn't happen. And I was like, that was going to be my first time to really experience Indian culture in India, but it's yet to happen yet. I'm waiting for an event to be put on that I get an invite to, and perhaps I can go then, or Microsoft send me there or something.
Definitely, you should visit India, and for India, right? You need to possibly go a couple of times because you can't explore the places in one trip, right? So you should go, and you will definitely enjoy the food first thing, but also more than that, you would enjoy the kind of hospitality we in India, like we receive, right, for the people. So you would definitely enjoy that part, and also like different cultural heritages and things which you have it, right? You I mean, you can choose your destination depending on what you like. If you like rivers, you can go to a place. You like beaches, you can go to a place. You like mountains, you go to a place. You like old heritage, you can go to a place. So you choose what you would like to visit, and you love visiting.
So what about this? What if I go and live there for 3 months? And, because my wife and I are discussing this type of travel where we go to a country for 3 months and we'll take our kids and everything, and I can still do my work. She can still do her work from there. If I was to do that for India and therefore over that 3 months use it as a chance to explore on the weekends and things like that, where do you think I should base myself? For that 3 months, where should be the base be? And then I'll use that to go out and travel across India, use all your wonderful train network and whatnot. Where should I base myself, in your opinion?
You should not base yourself for at one location and for entire 3 months. I would suggest go three places, three
Nice. I like it. One month in each location.
one month, and Airbnb can help you out really quick in that. So no worries about that. I would say the 1 month you can go to the northern part of the India, right? And there are a lot of good places there. You have mountains and other things to explore there. And then and the northern part is also having like capital of India, like Delhi. Okay.
So you recommend Delhi as I go and base myself in Delhi as the first one?
Yeah, Delhi or near to Delhi, you have some hill stations around like 6-7 hours of possible drives. You will find that, and you can enjoy nature really good there. And the good thing about Delhi and nearby that is that you can explore a lot of different heritage like Taj Mahal. You would have heard Red Fort, and a lot of places are there. So you can every weekend you can go anywhere from Delhi and explore this, right? So Saturday, Sunday is fixed for you. Monday to Friday work. Friday evening take car, travel. That's it.
Excellent. Now, when I take a car, is it best to hire a driver to take me everywhere?
It depends. I mean, if you can drive and if you are allowed to drive, depending on the driving license and other rules, you can drive yourself. Okay, it's not really difficult like London or UK to drive in India, so you can be easy there. Okay,
Nice.
but
So Delhi, that's the first one.
that's a Delhi first one for a month. Go around and look for the places. The second is I would suggest you go and base out yourself in Bangalore. Okay, and that's the southern part of the India. And first thing is, if you go to Bangalore, you will meet a lot of community folks there. It's a IT hub for India, right? So a lot of IT companies. Uh, I mean, you will find many people there from Dynamics community as well as from the IT industry, right? So if you would love to visit them, it's a startup city for India. lot of startups in Bangalore, right? So that's might look like a bit of work related, but the weather in Bangalore is really pleasant, right? So it remains around 20 degree, 18 degree, or something like this in like during the year, like except few months, but it's really pleasant, right? So if you stay there in Bangalore, first thing is within Bangalore, you will be having a lot of places nearby, like 100 kilometers or 150 to explore. But you have got a lot of other cities from the in the southern part. Like there is a city, there is a state. It's a state like Kerala, so you can travel there like in a night duration. So Friday evening leave, Saturday morning you are there, explore for 2 days, come back Monday morning, right? So major cities of southern part you can explore from there, right? So that's Bangalore. Now third one is bit, I mean, for me it is difficult to tell you, but I think I have a doubt in two places. So one is the very famous destination. It's a Goa. Uh, uh, so it's a beach like place where you have a lot of beaches and a lot of
I have a good I have a good
tourists.
friend from there. My understanding was colonized by Portuguese, right?
Exactly.
Portuguese, yeah.
Exactly. So that's one place where you can be there. But the thing is that if you are there, then you can do it from Bangalore as well. Like you can go. So that you can cover. But the other third one, which I would recommend, is the eastern part of India, right? Which is kind of a very nature driven, right? You find a lot of mountains and rivers, and it's a very pleasant or peaceful places you will find. And it is like a lot of people do not explore that because it's a bit far to travel from like center of the India. Like let's say you will be in Delhi when you land there, possibly, or Bangalore. But if you go eastern part, right, it's really beautiful place.
And so, any particular place to base myself?
I think Guwahati is the major city where you can be placed there, because it's a city, right? So which will be easy for your internet and rest of the things to put together. But close to that, you will have lot of places to visit and explore. So yeah, I think
This is good. This is good. Last question about my future travels is what month of the year should I arrive for if I'm there for that 3 months and I'm going to those three regions, what month should I arrive? So, what month 1, 2, and 3 weather-wise optimal? What do you think?
I think you should avoid possibly April, May to July or August, because that's bit kind of a hot kind of a weather which you might find in some places. But rest of the months are good to visit. Delhi avoid in the December and January, because it's bit like winters are very extreme there. And when we say winters are extreme, it's a very foggy nature. That you find it. So you might find a visibility issue when you are driving and things, right? So possibly that you can keep it for a Bangalore. Then you come back in February or March in Delhi, like so that would be good for you.
Superb. Thank you very much. I can see an expedition being planned. That's going to be awesome. Now back to you. Tell me, how did you get into IT?
Let's take a quick break.
Are you ready to transform your career in just 90 days? Join me on the 90-Day Mentoring Challenge and unlock your full potential. As I listen to the podcast, enroll now and get 10% off using the code MBAP. That's MBAP at the checkout. Don't miss this opportunity to learn from industry leaders and accelerate your growth. Visit ako.nz365guy.com and start your journey today.
Oh, how did I get into IT? So my education background is I'm a computer science engineer. So I have done my engineering. Uh, when I finished my engineering, though I was kind of having a good uh, interest in the programming and things, but possibly I was not that good in the programming that I can code really well or something. I did had a lot of good understanding. So then I thought to pursue something uh, in the IT itself, but bit of a different, like which is different from the coding. So which is kind of a consulting or something which I can explore. Now, when I think about that, so I thought like what next I can do. So I thought to pursue the masters. Now, when I started thinking about that, so I started thinking about the MBA for my next journey. But in MBA, when we do right, so we more think about in finance, marketing, and other areas. So right, but again, that was not my possibly again the interest because my interest was in the IT itself, right? Because of my education background of computer science engineer. So then I pursued my MBA from one of the university, central university, government university we have in India, which is focused on the information technology. So I pursued my MBA in information technology, and that course was really interesting because it was a mix of how you can use the technology in the on the management side of the work in any organization, which also brings some flavor of consulting, right? So that's where I think my I continued my IT journey. And when I finished my master's, I got the opportunity working with a small company in Bangalore. So I started my job there, and I started as a consultant, junior consultant there. But I really didn't had any clue that what I'm going to do on day one. And I entered into the office after my formalities. I met the team, and then someone came to me and said that, hey, we are working on a ERP. So I said, okay, that's good. You're working on ERP, and that's really interesting. And before that, I just heard about the SAP or Oracle in ERP. So I didn't had any clue about that we have Dynamics as ERP product or something. So they said like, oh, there is a product called Microsoft Dynamics Accepta 2012, and we are working on this product, and we are going to implement this for one of our customer in Middle East, and you should start exploring this product and start learn about this thing. I said, okay, what then I asked like what is Dynamics? Is it really a but then they explain about that it's a Microsoft product, so which brings a bit of confidence that yeah, if Microsoft has some products, so I mean, obviously there must be something which they have built, right? Good. So that's where I landed into. I mean, continued my journey as a computer science engineer to the masters in IT, and then landed into this job and got introduced to the Microsoft Dynamics Accepta 2012 R2, and that's where I started. Yeah.
Wow. How did you end up then in the UK?
Oh, that's again a kind of a 10 years journey now. So, I mean, before I start about talking about the how I landed into UK, right? Uh, so it was year 2013 when I started my career in Microsoft Dynamics as a consultant, and it was a small company, as I told you, right? So there, it was not. I mean, at that point of time, normally we did not had a lot of learning resources like how we have today. We have a lot of blogs, a lot of Microsoft Learn content is available. I mean, more than the blogs and the other YouTube channels, and a lot of things are there. And I remember that time we had a one partner source portal, and and that is where you used to get all the information about every module and everything. So but it was very complex thing, right, like you have to read everything, follow everything. So I started using that, But the good part about the small organization is that they put you in front of the customer, right? They give you that exposure that you go and talk to the customer, right? And I was very lucky at that point of time. There was a one of the senior most, senior person who joined that organization as a in our team as the lead for or team lead for the finance area. And the background of his was that he was the finance controller and in his previous job. So he was coming from a pure accounting background, a pure accountant, right? Who understand the accounting, in and out. And he was based out somewhere in Europe, and then he had to come back to India for some reason. So he joined this organization, and I was put with him because I was put into the finance. And first thing is, I'm coming from the IT background, computer science engineer, IT masters, no clue about debit or credit. I still understand the debit and credit as a plus and minus as a mathematics terms. So I was put in there, and then I started working with him. So my job was to learn the product, the technicality of the product, and his job was to give me the problems from the accounting terms. And so he used to give me in Excel that these are the 5 accounting entries. After you post these entries in the system, I want to see the trial balance, and this is how your trial balance should look like. So that was my exercise given by him, not any hands-on exercise by Microsoft Learn or anything. And then I used to post those accounting entries, and then we used to put a lot of effort in that because it's a new thing for. I mean, it might look very easy now, but at back that time it was a very new thing for me and for him also. It was a learning because he was learning a product, so he was a domain expert, and I was kind of exposing myself to the product. And that's where I started learning, and my finance as a finance consultant I started my journey. So he was my, I can say, more than a team lead, he was my mentor, the first mentor who helped me in understanding in and out about the accounting, finance, and everything. And that's where I started. So that was my first company. After that, I left that company and I joined PwC India. And PwC, I mean, I had a, I mean, I my experience was at a different level because on a day one they put me in front of the customer. They said like, this is the customer, go to them and talk to them about this project and what we are running. So it was like you just thrown out to for the swimming to in a sea, right? Like without asking anything. So I joined PwC, had a lot of exposure to the customer facing roles. Was always most of the 90% time was always at the customer side, talking to customers, working with them very closely. And the good part about the PwC was that I got introduced to Microsoft as well at that point of time in my career stage. And it was due to at that it was 2017 when I got exposure to Microsoft, directly working with Microsoft, was because in India the new tax regime was coming. So the GST was getting introduced. So before that they were using the VAT and other sales tax. So the GST was coming in, and the coincidence is that it was like before that the startup which I was working, they were working a lot of projects in Middle East. So which means I was the finance consultant, but I didn't had any exposure to the tax and the localization because in Middle East there was no tax at that point of time. So when I landed into PwC, they didn't have any person because most of the resources who were working, they were finance consultant and they were working on a normal project where the tax requirements were there. I was the only misfit person who didn't had any tax background, so they had to put me into this role where we were doing the rollout for GST across India for all the customers which PwC had. So that's where I learned about the taxation and the GST. Worked with Microsoft because GST framework was not there, so they built up the GST framework in Dynamics. we know that a lot of issues whenever Microsoft launches anything. I mean, we had to help them in getting resolve things and work with them. So yeah, that's where the journey started with PwC, worked with them. So yeah, that was PwC. After PwC, again, for an year time, I joined my first organization back. And that was just because I had a very good relationship with my first organization, and I was always very, very grateful to them. And because I got the mentors and they helped me building my career path, right? So they asked me to join back them because they had one customer in USA, and they were building a data analytics platform using the Azure and Data Lake and Dynamics CRM. There were a lot of systems were there. So I joined them for only specific for that project. So I started working with them, left PwC from there at that point of time, joined them. And once I joined them, I was in US that one time after joining them for a couple of months, and worked with them, helped them in the project. And that's where my blogging journey started, because I was in USA, and in USA there was a time difference between India and US, so it was like a opposite. There is a night, then day. So after my work, I was at my apartment, and then I was thinking like what to do. I don't have anyone else to talk to because everyone is sleeping back in India, right? So that's where I thought like, okay, I'm facing some issues and I learned something new, right? And that's where I remember, I think before that, this new feature management, the workspace was released for FNO. So I thought like, I think let's start talking about the new features which Microsoft is launching, right? Adding to the product. So that's where I started writing the LinkedIn articles and start talking about my. So what I started doing every week, I used to learn something new. I made that as a routine, and I used to just type it in a Word file, put a screenshots, and then just post it on LinkedIn. So no fancy language, nothing there. It just like we make notes on paper. So I started doing that and started putting things there. And then COVID happened during that. It's starting 2020, and then April, May. So the COVID started getting hit, and then I came back to India at the right point of time. And then this project finished. And then during that time only, I joined Microsoft in India. Oh yeah, so I was in the Microsoft for their consulting practice. So I joined them during that 2020, and then worked with them. And I was really enjoying there working with the Microsoft because there were a lot of brilliant people around me, and we were doing the large scale projects which Microsoft was handling across the different part of the world. So everything was going good, and things were nice. I was kind of enjoying my work, but again, I mean, as you said, like, so things like didn't stop you thinking about the next level. So then one fine day, I got the call from my LinkedIn connection, right? Who used to follow my blogs and saw my work around like what I used to post it and things. So reached out to me and asked like, "Are you interested working with EY?" And I said, "Okay, for which location?" So they said like London. Do you want to come here and work with us? So I said, "Okay." So I'm happy to refer you in EY. So I said, "Okay." So I sent my resume. Uh, it was referred to the EY, and then had couple of round of interviews, and then I landed into a job with London. So that's how my journey
That's so
to
cool.
UK is. Yeah.
What I like about that is, and I'm going to talk about it a lot in the various posts and stuff I do, is that your blogging opened a door for you into a new job market, a new opportunity, and I think that's so important. you obviously became an MVP off the back of that, but it's your writing has enabled you to get opportunities, and I think that is amazing.
Blogging has helped me. Like anything, it's not only about, I always say that it's not about how much I help the community using my knowledge and things, but I think it has helped me a lot in enhancing my skill set as consultant and giving me a different perspective. Because what happens, like when you are on a job in the project, you just think about that project, those problems, right? But when I do the blogging, I have to learn a new topic, so I have to prepare for that and do things, so I'm learning something new. And the second thing is, when you go to the community forum, you see a lot of people are putting the questions and the issues and the problem which they are facing. So if they are facing the problem, it is 90% likely that you will also face the problem when you are in that situation, right? Because they are not, it happens very less that they are very new people, but all of them are very experienced professional, right? So if they are facing the problem in those type of situations, it's very likely that next time you get into that project and you will also face that problem. So if you solve that problem there, or if you look at the answers which other people are giving, you saved yourself, you built your knowledge and the experience, and next time you get that issue, you say, hey, I know this, I can solve this.
I love it. Saurabh, thank you so much for coming on the show. We're out of time. I could go on because you're a wealth of knowledge, but thank you so much for joining me.
No worries, Mark. Thank you for having me here.
Hey, thanks for listening. I'm your host, Business Application MVP Mark Smith, otherwise known as the NZ365 Guy. If you like the show and want to be a supporter, check out buymeacoffee.com/NZ365 Guy. Thanks again, and see you next time.